Hey, Dr. Karen Can here. Welcome to another edition of the Spiritual Medicine Digest. And last night was pretty interesting. Sometimes when there are things happening in the house that are not expected, I need to ask more questions. And that's where it's really handy to have divine muscle testing under my belt, because I can connect to source and ask questions like, what's going on? So lately we've noticed more critters roaming the house, and the house walls, and whether it be, mice or squirrels or ants or something. Now, in the past, what's worked really well for me is just to ask my angelic and fairy folk to help, send them the message that the house is off, off the table. They're not allowed to come in here, that there's plenty of other places on the property that they can have fun and have their homes and all that kind of stuff. And that usually works very well. However, the last few days, they woke me up with their scrambling around. In fact, I really thought there were a bunch of Ewoks walking on my roof. It was that loud. So I thought, okay, well, if this is a recurring issue and the whole, angel order isn't working, there must be something I need to know. And that's one thing that's super handy to understand, is that sometimes when you might notice, oh my gosh, I'm trying to heal this thing, it's not healing, or I keep getting symptoms back. Why is it? I've worked with all these healers. A lot of times it's because you need to understand or know something, part of your soul evolution, part of a collective healing experience that you might need to understand or acknowledge. Now, in my case, it was something I needed to understand. So I asked about it. Now, in the past, what it has come up to, what has come up is that they need something. So we had one year where there was like this crazy number of mice running around in our, country home. And it wasn't until I think like, 5 or 6 days before I figured out that there was an imbalance going on. And in that case, what happened was they had difficulty digesting or getting the energy from food. And I was like, why is that? Right? So I did some Topican healing and did some investigation, finding out that the microbes in the soil had shifted and changed due to some sort of, let's just say, negative energy that humans had perpetrated, and that had spread, throughout the world. But of course, I got to know about it before it could spread further, so I could neutralize that frequency and energy, and voila, no mice in the house. Okay. But it was interesting because I didn't really know to ask until multiple people mentioned, oh my gosh, the mice are crazy this year, right? And then I'm like, aha, that's my hint to go and check. So this past week, we've had, these critters. And when I asked if there was something they needed, is there a healing they needed? Are they having difficulty with processing or integrating the ascension energies, which sometimes happens with various different species? So we help out, and no, that wasn't it. I thought, oh, I don't know. And so I had to ask, well, what are they affected by? And what it was the trees. I was like, okay, so what's going on with the trees? Now, of course, we are all connected by this seemingly invisible energy between us. We're all in kind of a quantum soup. So like the butterfly effect, one thing happens on one end of the world and it affects us on this end of the world, even though we may not know what that effect is. But this actually exists. And then if you're into quantum physics, or you're a quantum physics spiritual junkie fan like I am, then you'll kind of already know this, or you'll kind of get that. So what was it this time? I was like, what's with the trees? Well, this is very interesting. The trees were sad, and I'm like, all the trees? And pretty much, yeah, like all the trees in all the world were sad. And I thought, that's strange, since we're, polluting a lot less, and because we're indoors and we're not out in the factories and out working as much. I thought, maybe they'd be like, woohoo, no humans. Yeah, But quite the opposite was true. I was actually quite amazed. So it's like the trees missed us. And I was like, wow, they're sad? And I thought, okay, well, I thought, well, maybe they're missing the carbon dioxide oxygen exchange, That wasn't it. But it did have something to do with breath. So I thought, okay, what is it about breath? Like, what is it? Like, it's not, is it because we're not talking to them? No, it's not that, so it was this exchange of something, right? And so it came to be an exchange of prana, which is like some people call it vital energy. Now, pranayama, if you're a yogi, is kind of like breathing, yogic breathing or breathing exercises, if you will, which kind of moves, concentrates, and nourishes the chi and energy in our bodies. So there's some sort of prana exchange, communication, something between us humans and trees. And because so many of us are not outside as much, then there is like a deficit a little bit. But it's not like they can't survive without us. Of course they can survive without us. But it's more of this this thing that we do with each other, not even knowing that we did it. So this is the message that I got to share with you, which I thought was incredibly interesting. And even like when I tap into the emotions of the trees, which of course, being empathetic or highly empathetic or empathic, that's very easy to do. I almost want to cry. Like, it's just the sadness. So the healing that was being called for was to kind of like download the positive morphic field to the trees of that connection with humans. So even though we're not physically there, exchanging our prana, however, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call it, we're not physically there as much, since many more people are indoors and in their home, then they at least will have some relief of that. So, I mean, I can still tap in and feel some of the sadness, so there may be still some healing to be done around that. But what I'm calling for you to do is hug a tree today. Go outside, have a conversation with them, thank them for what they do, appreciate them for what they do. Whether you talk or not talk with them, it doesn't really matter, because you're going to be breathing. And if we all do that, I think they'd be actually quite pleased and happy around that. So so that's what I wanted to share with you this week, related to just, our weekly Spiritual Medicine Digest, where I share things about spirituality, what's going on in the world, and kind of like spiritual medicine news, so to speak. Now, there's a couple of things that are coming up that I really want you to know about. Number one, on Monday's Light Warrior radio show, Dr. Dennis Lobstein and I are actually interrupting our regular programming. So we were going to do part 2 of hair thinning and how to use LifeWave phototherapy patches in specific protocols to help improve the body's own ability to go into anti-aging and to grow thicker hair. And we're going to talk about Chinese medicine and meridians and things like that. However, because of the whole coronavirus pandemic, people are very interested in some simple protocols on how to use phototherapy patches to improve the energy system in their body, which then helps to support the physical body, including the immune system. So we're going to be focusing on not only your physical immune system, but the Chinese immune system as well. So tune in Monday at 12 noon Eastern on Lightwire Radio to find out how you can use phototherapy patching on specific acupuncture points to support healthy immune system function. So that is Monday at noon, and that will be recorded. So in case you cannot make it live, you can listen to the replay. But if you are going to come in live, then you can ask any other question as well. So some people are having cold and flu symptoms and want to know, what to patch for that. So yes, so definitely call in. You can call in live. You can go to the link, and the number is 818-514-1190. And then if you hit 1 in your dial pad, then we know that you have a question. So we'll leave time so folks can ask questions, so we can help you personally do some phototherapy patching protocols for whatever is, whatever symptoms that you are experiencing right now. Whether that be physical or mental or emotional, whatever, it'll all be good. So the other thing that I wanted to make sure you knew about is this Saturday, which is on my calendar here. It is Saturday, April 4th at 11 a.m. I am going to be doing a free masterclass called Infection Resilience, the Topocan Healing Method for Body, Mind, Spirit. So the Topocan Healing Method is an energy or light medicine method that I teach to people. It involves connecting with Source at the highest level, and then asking specific questions, getting answers, and then directing healing energies to yourself. in order to amplify your ability to self-heal. So the Topocan healing method I'm going to be sharing with you on Saturday in this free masterclass is really around the question of how do we become more resilient in the face of infections. So I'll be sharing with you some of the techniques that I use, the concepts behind them. I'll be teaching you about the 3 immune systems that you want to pay attention to. Also, how to do a Topocan healing directive. So we're going to give you some examples of how to do directives for yourself using that manifesting, that voice, that direction in your focus to be able to create a self-healing environment for yourself. So this is going to be streamed live on Light Warrior Network at 11 a.m. Eastern on Saturday. And if you're not a member of the Light Warrior Network Facebook group, I would highly recommend that you apply to be part of that group now. There are some qualifying questions. We want to make sure you're a right fit for the group. So we're going to be streaming live this free class so that we can stream to as many people as possible, because our webinar program only has a certain number allowed there. So this way everyone can take advantage of that. Now, if you're not on Facebook or you prefer not to be part of the group, what you can do to get a replay of this, we're going to be loading it up on a website so you can get access to the free webinar, the free masterclass. So what you want to do is make sure you're on my mailing list. Okay, so if you go to KarenCan.com and you just click the little download button, you get a gift for that, but you get on my mailing list because we will be emailing you a special secret link where you can access this class after the live, and then you'll be able to share that with people that you love for the next few days afterwards, right? There will be a limited time replay, and during the class I will actually be sharing with you an opportunity, an invitation to come work with me live and not in person because it is coronavirus pandemic, right? So it'll be live remote where we can actually do the work for you. So checking people's 3 immune systems, rewiring your cellular membranes so that the coronavirus and other types of pathogens, but specifically the coronavirus, cannot attach, and showing you all the body, mind, spirit things that we would assess to get your resilience up, not just infection wise, but also your mental, also your emotional, also your spiritual resilience. So it's kind of like a crash course in resiliency, but I think this is a great time to provide this. So I'm putting it in my schedule because I believe it's super, super important. So show up for the free masterclass on Saturday, see what it's all about. And then if it resonates with you, if you want to be a part of it, we will then be doing those live classes in the near future. And the little bonus here is that anybody that's living in the same household will include them as part of that healing training for free. So they do need to be part of your own household, and we're just trying to figure out technically how to get formal permission to do energy healing work on your family members if they're adults. So just stay tuned on that, but I did want to really share with you that very, very important masterclass on Saturday, and I hope you can come and definitely get on the mailing list if you have not already at KarenCan.com so you can get a copy of that. And I'm continuing my almost every other day or daily videos, Facebook Lives, which I then put on YouTube on a playlist called Coronavirus Pandemic, How to Stay Happy, Healthy, and Harmonious. So I hope you've been enjoying that. And if you have not, you can catch up just by checking out that playlist on my YouTube link. Yes. And if you're on YouTube, by the way, watching this video, please subscribe, and please share with your family members. Yeah, let me know if you have noticed anything in the last few days relative to your animals, your pets. Maybe you have had critters running around your house. And I got to tell you, after I did that healing on the trees, the initial healing on the trees, it was like, while I was testing the answer, it was like everything just went silent. It was amazing. It was like all these running around, like I said, they sound like Ewoks, right? Like running around all over the roof of my house. And then I started, and then once I hit it's the trees are sad. It was like whoop, complete and utter silence for the rest of the night. I was like, whoa, that is cool. And they're still quiet today. Okay, so lots of love to you. Stay safe, stay healthy, and remember, stay in love, stay in peace. Namaste. Until next week, bye.